because just the summoners being down alone, not really enough.
Man, I just love watching Xiaohu here in the mid lane as well. He's going to be so confident with his extra gold. He did not, by the way, invest into any early no magic.
Không nhận luôn.
He's going straight offense first.
Yep, recurve bow already in his inventory. Unfortunately, Humanoid only with a book. He's still just trying to build up these splinters, get to that point where you can press your gameplay button, which is located on R, and just force your opponent to not be able to play the game. Tarzan will be starting off these grubs, and of course Nidalee pretty happily getting through those.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to get at least some of them here, but Fnatic have the earlier move with Jun heading over. There's no teleport on Humanoid though because of the early skirmish and loss, so now their mid laner's not going to be here. It looks a little sketchy.
Yep, 2 of the grubs already taken down. That was where Tarzan invested his smite. That won't be contested on the 3rd one. So maybe Fnatic going to be putting a little bit more pressure on the next spawn.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits too of having Misfortune as your bottom laner. You saw Light kind of walking up very quickly with the strut movement speed. And once you see the bottom lane has also made the rotation here. No chance for Fnatic. So 3 grubs plus the early 2 kills for Weibo is massive for them. We talked about them really wanting to snowball with especially the top 3 champions on the map.
Kind of the worst of both worlds for Fnatic as well, because you don't really have anything that you can do there towards the grubs with the rotation. As Razor maybe looking for a play here.
Yep, gonna be spotted on a ward as he does make his way in, but there's Jun with the engage. They do a lot of damage and Light will be going down. Jun's still gonna be sacrificed, so a 1-for-1 in the end, but this might give Fnatic enough time to grab some plates as well.
That's the punish of that lack of summoners onto Light, and it makes the previous grub play feel a little bit less bad, because ideally you'd be looking for a side lane play or for a cross map. Fnatic didn't really find anything there. With this kill onto Light and it going to Noah as well, it's a lot of power necessary still. About 800 gold behind, but at least they're trying to stem the bleeding.
And you do pay a small price by showing jungle up for that dive as they stop the recall here from Oscarin. By showing jungle up there, Tarzan moves in and steals away your red buff as well, so a very small price to pay, but still being able to get it.
Well, it's a 2-for-1. You got 3 grubs as well.
There you go.
So in the extended trade, definitely still not the end of the world. And I really like this play from Fnatic. Exactly what we talked about. When there is an enemy with no summoners that needs to be punished, Jun goes for the Q flash. And from that point on, Light doesn't really have any counterplay.
Yep, wall slam comes through from Razok, and that is all she wrote. And I think you're happy to trade Jun for that one. As
went to Crisp as well.
Just have to see exactly how this one's going to go. Crisp, I think he could be deadly on this Leona. We've seen Leonas pick up some kills in the past.
Yeah. Battle Leona.
Exactly. Battle Leona is something to be feared, Chronicler, as we know. Tarzan going to be starting off the first dragon, though. We'll see whether Fnatic can get down here and try to contest. Looks like there is a couple in the area, but with Razok going home, looking like that is just going to be given over. And I think the first dragon, not something you necessarily need to lose your minds over. 600 gold the lead for Weibo, but I think to go back to what we were talking about in the draft, this isn't that bad, right? For Fnatic, they have this composition that can certainly survive into the later stages, and Weibo sort of have to get more of a lead than this to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think what I'm worried for Fnatic mostly is second grub fight, because I feel like Weibo are going to have a big advantage there. You know, Renekton on second grubs is always a monster, something difficult to deal with, and we'll see about the swaps if they can get back, but currently Tarzan on the bottom side as we're still a minute away from that second grub pack spawning, and he wants to punish bot.
Yeah, as the bullet time to come through there. Not really doing very much, but Noah still has to use the cleanse. The ignite comes down afterwards. Good sidestep there from at least Noah, but Jun unfortunately is going to be left to the wolves. Nice Magnet Storm just to make sure that his Varus is safe, but it's not going to keep him alive as Light gets his revenge.
Still massively successful gank there for Tarzan. Gets both summoners from Noah, and even though you don't get the kill, they're going to be able to shove in that wave, kill going over to Light, and Weibo with this Nidalee really trying to snowball the game as much as they can.
And that just makes me really even more worried for the grub fight, because now, like you're saying, with no summoner spells for Noah, and Weibo having Breathe with the ultimate ready for Renekton, definitely looks very scary, but they are swapping them over, so Noah and Jun headed up to the top half of the map.
Yeah, Oscar going to be seen there on the recall, but Breathe not going to force him away or anything like that.
One advantage that Fnatic got, because, you know, Jun died earlier. They have been able to get vision, set it up here, so they do still really want to go. I do think that the gold lead that is there for Weibo isn't by itself detrimental, but if they're getting caught off guard...
Razork does come through, does find the stun into the wall. The Impale comes through, but he was stunned. Not actually going to bring him anywhere and breathe with that ultimate. Is keeping himself alive for so long. Almost survives, but doesn't. Gets cut down by Noah. He's going to be traded through, though. Both top laners to go down. As Chris getting taken down over and over again. You can see Razork down low. Jonah as well, just trying to get out. The crash down, the flash, and Fnatic are out of there. But are they healthy enough to still fight for this objective?
I don't know about that. Humanoid, I think, flashed over there. They really needed more kills to make that worth their while.
Oh, Chris finding the interruption on the recall. Will be able to take down Humanoid there, and that means these grubs are definitely going over to Weibo.
That is such a tragedy for Fnatic. Chronicler, Humanoid did flash over into the Tri-Brush in the earlier play, and so then here, while he's recalling by the Tri-Brush at their tower, just gets spotted by Crisp, and Crisp just waits around. They get another one, Weibo here. Even though it starts out with a decent focus onto the Renekton, it still turned around so nicely. And notice that it actually takes Xiaohu a long time to join and teleport in, but Fnatic know that that possibility is here.
The big thing is that you are throwing everything, including Humanoid's offensive flash, into lightest summoners and a Renekton. Like level 9 Renekton has his ultimate available. They invest so much, meaning that they don't actually have the tools to then win the fight the moment that Xiao does TP in. And that alone would have already been rough, and you're for sure going to lose the grubs. But then the fact that because he doesn't have the flash, Crisp with a really nice read cancels the recall.
Yeah.
And right now, things are looking dire.
And Xiaohu went back and he finished his Mercury treads. So you thought he was going to play very aggressively previously, but now with the tenacity and the magic resist of your Merc treads on top of your offensive ability to punish, this is Xiaohu unleashed.
Very, very scary. With 6 grubs as well, and the fact that they have double 80 carry, if they're given any time on these turrets, it is going to be a disaster. 1 minute until the plates do fall down. We'll see whether they're able to collect any more of that money. But I think there is a lot on Fnatic that need to keep away Weibo from these turrets to eliminate the opportunity to get all of the extra cash.
Let Oscar get it back. Man, every time.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we see on screen when we pan over top lane.
Actually, not too bad though for Fnatic.
This is working.
As, obviously, topside was, I think, going to get taken nonetheless with their bot lane already showing towards that bot wave. You can't really fight this topside right now. 3-0 on Xiaohu. Tarzan obviously really fed due to the early impact that he's made. Even though he was focused in the last fight, still very much doing his job. That one turret I think was okay. Definitely can't give this one up.
Yeah,
Oscar alone is not going to be enough. Again, 6 grubs.
Yeah, they're just hitting it. Tarzan as well can't give attack speed over to Xiaohu. It is just going to be taken out, and that's what happens. I think you can't really adjudicate how much damage you're going to do in what amount of time with these 6 grubs there. It's just not really working. Noah's been here for forever.
It's lethality Varus. He's trying his hardest, but he doesn't have a lot of attack speed to get through that turret.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work. Crisp taking a little bit of damage there, but not really too much to worry about as Noah finally does get through that structure. And so I think 6 plates to 7 is where it was at, if memory serves. So not actually that bad, but an inner turret going down?
Yeah, exactly. It's very rare in this check-in at the 14-minute mark and where they're checking in on turret plates for also a secondary turret to have already been taken. So much extra gold there, and Weibo doing a very good job of accelerating off of the early success of their plays. Remember, it all started with their success in those small skirmishes, and then being able to translate that up to the grub fight is just kind of insanely difficult now for Fnatic to really retake control. Maybe when they get Humanoid to level 11 on the Syndra, because he at least does have the Storm Surge now. There is huge burst potential in this item. Currently, that item is in a very good state, so if Humanoid can get his level 11 to just a tiny bit of experience here, then maybe that R button outplay will be the start of something good for them.
The problem with Fnatic falling this far behind for me is that even though, again, I think their composition is a little bit more playable when you are in a deficit because of the CC.
Crisp is deep.
But do you have the damage?
Very far forward as Breed does get through the turret. Let's see how Eclipse is going to work here. Taxi's out with the Zenith Blade. As now Oscar in and he's trying to make his way and he's teleporting right on top of two members of Weibo. And now he's dashing after Tarzan. Flashes over the wall. Tarzan should be taken down here. But meanwhile, the rest of the fight, the culling comes on through. Oscar in is able to finally take down the Nidalee. As Xiaohu dashing through finds that piercing light, but can he get anything more?
Oscar,
as the wraparound's coming through, this could be the team fight. Another huge counter-strike onto two! As Humanoid gets the kill on the Misfortune, the damage is falling and Fnatic will find it!
It's the reverse Fnatic! They fell behind early, but find a monster fight here! And just as I was wondering, do they have the damage to kill Crisp? Well, they did, but everyone else from Weibo joined as well!
And it all started there when Oscar's teleport comes in, and he just says, forget it, I'm going all in on Tarzan here. I'm just gonna punish this Nidalee, whatever's right in front of me. He comes in with the instant counter-strike, does not hesitate, follows Tarzan over every wall that Nidalee tries to jump over, and after he gets this kill,
Nó hoài nhìn tới thằng luôn, cảm thấy con rắc nó nhảy vào quả cuối kiểu chơi mặn được đấy. Bản là vào thế khó con rắc ở sau lưng nữa sao mà đánh. Live phần này cũng tiếc spell nữa, cảm thấy mà bung spell thì có thể chơi game được ấy. Còn luôn cái được rồi.
From Fnatic to fight their way back in.
And what's crucial there is the amount of damage that Resurrect tanked. Got the early spear that was thrown towards
Sao có mỗi chân này mà không có mic sau ấy.
The calling from Xiao didn't actually end up amounting to anything, and you saw without him really pumping out a lot of damage and Tarzan taken out of the fight immediately, wasn't too much that Weibo could do there.
That's a tough play to do as well. You know, this is an elimination series. And Oscar on teleporting in, the game is starting to slip away from you.
Con scatter đằng sau luôn.
Yeah, they know exactly what Razok's trying to do here, but he doesn't waste any time. He's just going to drive on through. They do get the charge out of the Rift Herald, but not
Nhưng mà đội hình này thua tiền. Hiện tại chỉ có Lucian đang chơi game ấy, nhưng mà con Lucian muốn gánh thì thực sự rất là cần cái giai đoạn thắng ở giữa game này để nó có thể lấy chỗ 2. Như Tham mình hiện tại cảm thấy nếu mà BO3 mình vẫn đánh được, họ mới có chất tướng có thể ra danh được, nhưng mà phải ra danh rất là khéo.
Feels so much more confident than they did about 5 minutes ago.
And with the gold lead a lot more equal, especially once John has his flash available again, like Weibo, as strong as I think they are when they are the ones initially setting the fight, you see if Crisp gets taken out early and he doesn't actually get to provide the CCs, no, I'm okay here. Doesn't seem like he's too threatened. Getting a lot of value out of the Age of Night there.
Yep. Bit more of an attack speed build, not really going to be buffing up the combat damage as much as others could be for Xiaohu here. Still.
Lúc này trước xài có dùng xài đâu.
Yeah, I think it does. That little play does kind of demonstrate some possibilities from Weibo later on too, because not only Noah but also Humanoid. You know, both of the carries here for Fnatic have pretty low mobility if they don't have their summoner spells, and so Leona ultimate can set up not only the poke from Illusion ultimate, but also
Cánh thua xong rồi bên kia tập pháp sư.
There
Không có quá nhiều chiêu thức có thể mở. Nhưng mà cánh thua thì bạn rất là khó để có thể mở. Đội hình thì không phải rất là. Giờ hiện tại BO3 mình gặp khó khăn này. Cái đội hình này đi cánh thì không lại con rắc, rắc thành lắm.
If either team can get the ocean, I think that's particularly against the spears, very high value. But a lot of these comps feel really bursty, so I don't know if you really want to prioritize too heavily towards getting those. Maybe instead look for gold on the cross map.
Yeah. The reason I was freaking out so much for that last fight, though, is because it actually does so much to allow Fnatic some more counterplay. If the Jax is in a good condition, being able to have the split push, but then also set up for the objectives here with very strong front line on the Skarner and the Rel just gives Fnatic so many more options in this game that looks like they had started to close because of Weibo's dominant early game. But really big stuff there from Fnatic and especially Oscar to get themselves into a much more capable situation.
I also expected Weibo to get that mid lane turret down, which obviously gives you so much more pressure and makes it a lot harder to play for Fnatic. But that didn't actually happen, right? Like they threw down the Herald, but when they got the Herald, it looked like that mid lane turret was guaranteed gone. But that bot lane fight also took a lot of threat away. And now you can see, I think for Noah in particular, as you point out, like even with Edge of Night, this is a guy that needs to be very careful with his positioning, but having a turn to go back to for Fnatic is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Bit of a battle here, but it is going to be Noah helping out with his piercing arrow. Razor
rồi bộ mình này. Team 2 đánh kiểu gì đây?
the blue buff, and as we
Rồi
just
đối
ticked
tập
over
pháp sư
3
bắt buộc phải
minutes,
đánh Aram đối với đường pháp sư cánh thì chắc chắn là không thể thắng được rồi. Nhìn gần như là không có tí cơ hội nào, có lẽ là nên bẻ vào cái chỗ hai đường trên mất rồi. Thế thì đánh kiểu gì?
And still a fair bit of vision available, fair few traps available here. So Weibo do understand what's going on, but they will, I think, look to take down this turret first. Let's see whether Fnatic let them. It's another smash in the wall. From Razov, there's the counter strike as well. He barely needed it. Xiao just going to fall. Crisp immediately afterwards. And the rest of Weibo are reeling. They're going to lose the dragon. They could lose more.
It's a double fake out. Weibo also think, okay, we can give up this Drake, who cares, it's the first Drake, we can take mid-turret, but Fnatic are ready to punish.
Yeah, Razork says, get off of our turret now!
It's still there!
And Xiaohu tried to finish it. Xiaohu has flash, by the way, Crisp has flash, by the way, and they wanted to finish the turret. They thought they could finish the turret in time, that then they could turn and take the fight, but the Skarner is just driving right at you. You have to respect it. They do not respect it. He can't finish the turret, and he just gets clapped up by the ultimate, immediately taken down. Huge for Fnatic here. What a punish!
Cảm thấy hiện tại 2 thắng này. PK tìm hiểu đối thủ luôn.
Simply too late. If he flashes there, I can see Weibo turn around that fight. Brief was at the ready. Tarzan
was
ready.
không có để ý nhiều lắm. Sao đường dưới sao thua nặng dữ.
Fnatic now with a gold lead.
And a kill lead as well. With a composition like this, feels absolutely fantastic. Because Weibo, they were starting to run away with things. As soon as that bot lane fight happened, you could even see the split, right? Tarzan hanging so far back as Crisp and Xiaohu were looking to try and greed for that turret. I could hear the comms, you know, in my mind's ear. I could hear it's Tarzan saying, please don't die, and they were just still underneath that turret
mind's
there.
Ear.
Yeah, my mind's ear. That's what I was going for. You know how you say mind's eye, but I couldn't see it. I could hear it. It sort of had to be my mind's ear.
I totally understood what you're going for.
And then he had to just make it
I'm the problem. I'm sorry. Apologies, Atlas. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. I don't think that one's been coined before. Please let me know if you
That's
have
an
any
Atlas
idea.
special.
Yeah. But you made me feel like right home about something was not actually a thing that people said, Kobe. So I never know when I'm on a desk with you whether something's real or not.
I traumatized you with that
You
one.
really did. I heard somebody else say it with you just the other day, and I was like, he's not berating him for it.
I really want to hear this. I feel like we need to focus on the game. We'll look
fair
back
enough,
to this
fair
later.
We'll unpack our trauma later.
As we do see now, third item done. Noah on Lethality Varus, and Varus in general, but I think with Lethality Varus you do have a lot more innate safety because of the fact that you can use your range a lot more, but still into particularly...
Cảm ơn, em đợi nút game xong rồi coi xem cái mic kia nó có vấn đề gì ấy. Thì tại nó không có nhận nữa.
For this AD carry, I think Weibo are going to have a tough time as Breathe.
Yeah, Breathe is going to find
Cảm
Johnny,
lại rắc
and also a few extra friends that maybe he didn't want to hang out with, as there's a teleport coming through as well. He is soaking a lot. The Sterix is going to be there. The zoning impale comes through, and the culling just tickling Oscar in it. There's still time scored. I'm not sure about that one. Xiaohu going to finish him off in the end. Full time, not doing a whole lot of anything, and the minion wave is there to soak these spears. In the end, it is going to be a 1-for-1. Both top laners falling down, but
Fnatic rất là dễ dàng thôi, cứ đợi team 2 ra đánh. Nhưng cái trong một đường giữa của bên phía BO3 bên sắp mất rồi. Một cái tempo nào đó ra giạt qua.
Trying to punish with Humanoid, not having teleport available. I don't think they should. I don't think the game state is that desperate that they have to flip for Baron, so they rightly so decide not to.
Yeah, it's actually something you see a decent amount with Fnatic. After they make a good play, then they get a little bit too antsy with trying to squeeze more out of it, and
could have just taken the Renekton.
Exactly. Oscar was a little bit too greedy in the +1 on top of the play, because here Breathe is so separated from the rest of Weibo. His plan as they approach the brush is to dodge and outplay, but he can't last long enough for the rest of Weibo to get here. By the time they get here, he's actually dead. And then
tăng lên
the
không
rest
được
of the
lại
team actually walks back because of the Leona ultimate. But Oscar was forward from the Leona ultimate, and so he wanted to make the huge play onto Xiaohu. But as you mentioned, it's just a flash-for-flash trade. Have to really pinpoint the timers on those summoner spells and keep that in mind.
Also, even though you see how much CC Fnatic has, Jun missing stuff, still leads to the Renekton going down, I'm pretty sure they can actually 100-0 brief there if they fully stun lock him, right? If the Q goes off, then the crash down, then the slam into the wall. Because a really big part of why that fight looked even close was Brave again, already has level 2 in the ultimate, had his Sterix, and you saw how much time it took to actually take him down. But looking at the summoners, Xiao, whose flash I think is a big deal. Outside of that, nothing too crazy. And this game at 25 minutes still feels like it very much could go either way.
It really does. I do still feel like Fnatic are in a great spot given what they have. We'll just have to see what they do with it. As Breathe pushing in this lane towards the bottom inner turret. Oscar will come over and pick that one up. A couple of items for the Jax already. I think Breathe going to struggle in the 1v1 against this guy. I think it means so much for Fnatic with this composition. You mentioned already the fact that it's difficult for these less mobile champions to hang out in a side lane. As soon as Oscar's just going to be winning in sides, their line wave clear is absolutely absurd. So you can hold whenever the team is pushing.
Điều gì bên phía của mình hiện tại cái thế đánh của họ rất là ít, thì khó đánh luôn đó, nhưng mà họ vẫn có hai con rồng nên họ có thể kéo dài được những cái pha mục tiêu, họ có thể gọi là cấu máu tốt hoặc là nhưng cảm thấy rất là khó để có thể đánh team fight nữa. Theo cách đánh team fight của WBG xử lý như thế nào? Không ra tranh chấp tầm nhìn, đẩy khu vực đường giữa, bảo vệ khu vực đường giữa và tiến hành một cái chỗ 2 hay chăng? Con Noa đừng láo rồi. Bây giờ cái pha đấy là phải bung chiêu vào để lấy spell của Noa ấy. Đánh team fight của gì đây? Mình vẫn muốn đánh team fight. 8.000 máu. Fnatic vị trí rất là đẹp, Ukraine vị trí đẹp, Humanoid vị trí cũng đẹp, nhưng mà Humanoid đang bắt đầu bị gây áp lực ở đây rồi với việc là QE đã trượt. Rồng thì đã có cho vị trí của Fnatic. Fnatic có lẽ sẽ mở hay chăng?
And the bullet time coming through as well, going to soften them up. The piercing arrow, I mean, Noah is really hurting right now. 4-0-3 on this Varus, he needs to be respected. And I think that was like a bullet time that did the same amount of damage as the Q from Noah.
Yeah. Lethality Varus, ever since we saw him get buffed again, I think it's more so, funnily enough, because he used to be an early game powerhouse, but I feel like it's really his late game where it feels now like if you can land these Qs consistently, it's a really, really big deal. Again, Noah summoners to me a big thing as well. Xiao almost has the flash available, which will lead to him being able to play a lot more aggressive. These two Drakes for Fnatic, they're nice, but again, I think that as far as this was an Inferno, if this was a Hex stack, feel very different about this game. Execution still needs to be crisp here on either side, really. But Weibo is going to start reaching the point where, like Oscarinian, once he finishes his Zhonya's, that's not a target that you're going to be able to go for anymore. And Weibo do really need to take someone out of the fight early, unless Light hits a mega ultimate.
And Weibo have a lot to dodge as well. It's not just the poke, but also the Syndra long-range stun, as well as Noah. If he throws out his ultimate here on the Varus, anyone getting snagged by that, very viable pick target. So we'll see about the split push on bottom side, as it is 4-1 for both these teams, trying to battle over mid lane pressure first.
Yeah, a lot of power when Fnatic have Oscar in the fog of war, because the flank angles for this Jax can make things really difficult. Because, like you say, even dodging things that they can see right in front of them is going to be difficult. But when you throw a Jax into the mix as well, with that circle of doom that he's going to be carrying in with him, certainly be a problem. As Humanoid towards that top side, holding on to this CS lead of about 20 that he's had almost the entire game. Weibo just trying to figure out that way to get back in.
And this is one of the things Fnatic need to be very careful about, and I hope Weibo is going to be looking towards, is that when you're in a front to back, Syndra can be really hard to get on top.
Nhưng hiện tại thì thế trận nó rất là nghiêng về Fnatic luôn á. Nhưng mà Weibo mình vẫn có những cái thế họ có thể đánh được. Họ bắt đầu hoàn thành những cái đồ cần thiết rồi. Như Photon 3 đồ, Lucian bắt đầu có những mảnh từ có khả năng cầu máu, đại bác, vô cực gì đó.
Anh Di ơi, anh nhắc hộ em thằng bạn tên Tú, mặc áo đen, đang ngồi xem stream anh bỏ cờ bạc với. Cả nhà khổ vì nó lắm rồi.
Kìa, cả bạn nào đấy.
And these last 20 seconds, Weibo have been losing resources with the Jax split push.
Ồ, nhìn rồi chứ Humanoid bị giữ lại nhưng mà không có được thương tiếp theo từ ai cả. Lucian ở đây thì chả sao đứng ở một vị trí thật sự là vờ cờ. Dương bắt đầu phải đánh cái đấy, đội hình đối phương là pháp sư mà, phải bẻ cánh rất là áp lực luôn. Đối phương mở lại thì rất là khó. Tiếp được Humanoid nhưng mà bắt buộc phải vào thế chạy, đối phương giữ lại cả số. Được luôn. Thật sự biết rồi sao chứ.
And you could feel Oscar wanted to go for the flash counter strike there. Not going to be the case. Maybe they get mid lane turret. We haven't really mentioned.
Có cái vị trí của Xiaohua đứng á, đúng á. Mà cảm thấy khi Varus với con Reo nó nhìn vào thì đồng đội phải làm tốt hơn đấy, đồng đội nó phải đánh nhanh hơn đấy. Cảm thấy live trong pha vừa rồi nó đánh rất là chill luôn đấy. Ôi nhìn mở đó humanoid rồi nhưng mà kiểu không bung tốc biến, không bung rờ gì cả để giết humanoid. Em mọi người nhìn vị trí humanoid xem, gần như là chết chắc rồi. Humanoid chết chắc rồi, nhưng mà Xiaohua làm gì vậy? Xiaohua đứng cái góc của Xiaohua mọi người nói chuyện này đó là kiểu cứ đứng đấy áp cả. Đối phương mà dám làm gì thì mình ok mình chơi game. Đối phương nhìn hết vào mình mà mình vẫn đang đứng. Có mình giải thì ngân bị mở dễ quá. Để thì ngân đại bác với tốc biến. Phần này khó rồi, vị trí của Weibo của mình hết tốc biến, đối phương ra Baron với việc những cái mất tốc biến như thế này. Mà trước hết phải lấy cho mình cái trụ giữa đã. Rồi này không lấy trụ giữa thì Baron rất là khó. Tôi cảm thấy cứ chiêu Doan rồng nó cũng đủ thắng rồi.
That Weibo can try and look to answer. It looks like they're actually going to use Breeze now.
Pretty big shattering strikes come through there as well, but not a lot of meaningful damage onto this turret. So Weibo is still going to hold on to their outer in the mid lane. I feel like this siege, especially as these ocean dragons start to stack up for Fnatic, should be really strong. But Weibo have been doing a great job defending it.
Thế mọi người đánh tóc mọi người hay lên đồng hồ. Kiểu tùy chất tướng đối phương thì mình mới lên đồng hồ. Thế tự nhiên đồ đang đồ đấu sĩ tự nhiên vào ra cái đồng hồ. Trong khi chỉ số của đồng hồ rất là nó không ok á. Kiểu giờ là nửa mảnh có bánh vuốt xong rồi về sau rồng này nó cái bóng vuốt là cảm thấy đúng mạnh luôn á. Kiểu đang lên được đấu sĩ xong rồi yên thành cái con kiểu gọi là mình la vào dùng chơi xong rồi đồng hồ xong rồi dùng chơi nữa nó bị lỏ. Humanoid hết máu nhưng mà không có vấn đề gì cả, có cho mình là tele tempo không quá dễ. Tele ra ôm cánh trái, lượng tài nguyên vẫn còn, những con mắt tím vẫn còn để có thể tiến vào những cái bụi khó như vậy. Mắt tím đầu tiên được bung ra, ống kính cũng được bung ra. Kiểu Fnatic vào thành đúng kinh nghiệm luôn á. Nhìn nó đánh kinh nghiệm á. Cái mắt này rất là quan trọng á, không thể lãng phí được một cái mắt nào, bất kỳ cái mắt nào cũng không thể lãng phí được. Mắt tím thứ hai được bung ra. Đôi mình gặp khó khăn này, đường giữa hay sao? Nhưng mà đánh luôn à? Chắc chắn không có tốc biến. Nhìn nó ngập. Ra đi vào tầm nhìn của mình đúng dễ luôn á.
Humanoid getting chunked there was a win for them because Humanoid's teleport is not going to have any use in the fight, but the ultimate from Crisp, the ultimate from Light that were used to chunk him out were expended, and so Fnatic have the advantage in the fight. They take the objective, they get the kill, and they're going to take Baron too.
Cross map being set up here for Weibo. Xiaohu going for that, but that's, I think, all they're going to get. Oscar has been sent over, can TP in case of a crazy Weibo contest, but that's not coming through. And Fnatic, I think the expectations, particularly after some of their previous games, not going to be very high. But what's the key thing to me, outside of that one play from Oscar, they have looked so restrained, which is definitely something they should have given the lessons they've learned throughout the year. But it's, I think, the big difference maker in this series so far.
Certainly is, and coming into this one, when you don't have that Leona, Misfortune, or Lucian ultimates on the side of Weibo, they're just kind of standing around watching, you know, poking at the dragon, see if they could steal it or something. Light here, let's see if he gets any autos off. He walked all the way around, he casted an E.
He got sold by Oscar. Like, Oscar just walked up to a helicopter. He's like, oh, no, I can't get near this.
At this point, I'm feeling like AP Misfortune would have been the option.
Yeah, get that Leander's in there.
Yeah, get that E damage working out. As Fnatic with the Baron now pushing down, they finally get the outer turret in the mid lane. And the inner might be following, although they do run out of minion wave. Still, this is so much control.
Anh Di ơi, tường, mắt, đầu gối trong tiếng Anh là gì hả?
That could worry some people, but we'll see whether it works out.
That, but now comes actually killing the Nexus, and I think first getting inhibitors, right, makes it so much easier to play the map.
Once you have to do that. There was a team that we had that got caught up with the whole inhibitor debacle, so yes, you do need to kill those.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. As Fnatic now just looking for a minion wave in mid lane. Top lane is not really something that they can play through right now, but bottom mid is somewhere that they should be able to crack at least.
Yeah, Oscar should be going back there, catch that one, so that they're at least playing on two waves, but they want to be careful. Weibo have been very proactive about continuously looking for these fights.
I mean, from this point on, it is just so easy for Fnatic. Because Weibo's comp has just run out of steam, and Fnatic have all the advantages here. They have an advantage in split push, they have an advantage in siege. Their front line is massive. Weibo would have to come up with some miracle play from Crisp, honestly. A Leona ultimate would be their dream
or
scenario.
Crazy flag.
Yeah, Breathe looking for that angle. You can see the Crocodile making his way in. Chris gonna start up the fight as Razor's just a brick wall in front, and they will just choose to kill the Leona, and she's gonna go down extremely quickly. The bullet time not really doing too much. The culling following suit, and Oscar turns into that backline and triple kill just instantly. That's one heck of a counter-strike for that engage, as Breathe not gonna be doing enough here. And Jun just gonna come back just to help out with these guys, as Razok is immortal. This Skarner is never gonna die. At least not for the rest of this game, as now Fnatic looking to push further forward and try to break open this base.
And Noah falls, but I don't think he's going to be feeling bad about this one, Kobe.
It's Fnatic with the outscale. It's Fnatic with the comeback.
Oh my goodness, this was not on my bingo card this morning, but I'm very happy to sketch it in crayon as these Nexus turrets are falling down, and Fnatic on their home turf will not be pushed away by Weibo in game one. Not with that early game composition. They'll move up 1-0 in the series.
And Weibo, the early game, maybe not quite as high pace as we were looking for, but still, a lot of the things that you want. Xiaohu getting a lot of early kills. Tarzan being active on the map wasn't enough.
It didn't quite work out, and sometimes, you know, you see these early game compositions and you're like, oh, that feels good because you've got confidence for a team. Those things don't work out, can feel absolutely terrible. Which is exactly what happened in that game one. But it's a best of 3, so they can try and turn things around. It is now time for us to go to a short break. When we get back, we'll get ready for that game number 2. See you then.
Sparks ready. Amped up.
This is necessary.
Red Bull gives you wings.
You wish. In the dojo. You wanna head high? In the dojo. Ready. In the dojo.
been it since the cradle. Built different, homie, you could go and check the label. I'm 100% raw, underrated. Unrelated, I'm the greatest. I'm the hero and the villain, you could pick a favorite. I'm the one that everybody said he couldn't make it. Now I'm on a mission, I'ma try to win my enemies and they gon' hate. Hate is just the love when it's intensive. Dark is just the light without the sense. And loneliness is you without the friends. Click, giving up for me is too expensive. Renegade. I'm a renegade, renegade, renegade. Better run away, run away, run away.